Glad you could join us. This is Joy News Today. My name is Daniel Dazi. Now, in our first story, Busia Institute for Rural and Democratic Development has lauded President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's endorsement of the decision to rename the University of Energy and Natural Resources K.A. Busia University of Energy and Natural Resources. Executive Director of the Institute, Anani J, who gave the commendation a day after the President Akufo-Addo's endorsement, said it is just appropriate to honor Ghana's second Prime Minister, Dr. Kofi Abrefa-Busia, in such a manner. He spoke with Joy News' Nesta Kafui Ajuma at Sunyani in the Bono region.
According to Anani J, Dr. Kofi Abrefa-Busia's contribution to Ghana's democratic dispensation cannot be overemphasized. Hence, naming the University of Energy and Natural Resources after him is not too much to ask for.
The mission of the Busia Institute is to preserve the ideals and legacy of Professor Busia. And one of the main pillars about Professor Busia's life and works is education. So if a university has been named after him, I think it is in the right direction.
Anani J further urged students across the Bono region, especially those in the University of Energy and Natural Resources, to emulate the academic and governance exploits of Dr. Busia.
We want to encourage the young people, the youth, especially the students in this university in particular, to explore the life and works of Professor Busia and to be imbued with the values that made him the great man he was, and for which reason, 41 years after his death, his country has renamed a university after him. We think that if we follow the footprints of Busia as young people, as youth, we will do great service to our country.
President Akufo-Addo, during his speech at the 4th Congregation of the University of Energy and Natural Resources in Sunyani, accepted the proposal to rename the university after Dr. Kofi Abrefa-Busia, adding, "It is an excellent decision." Nesta Kafui Ajuma's report for Joy News.
Now, the Ghana Immigration Services says it is alarmed by the growing number of human settlements along the borders with its neighbors, Togo. These settlements, according to the service, fuel cross-border crimes and illegal trade of smuggled goods in and out of the country. As part of our Porous Border series, Volta Region correspondent Fred Kwame Asare throws a spotlight on Gakli, a border community in the Ketu South municipality. This is his report read to you.
It's business as usual at Pillar 11, one of the numerous unapproved routes to and from Ghana to neighboring Togo. Though there are border security officials here, the checks are not as rigorous as you would see on the approved routes. A border officer told me because community members interrelate, work and live in both countries, it is difficult restricting people from crossing. There are several of such unapproved routes leading to Gakli and adjoining communities in the area, as only imaginary lines separate the two countries.
There are different tribes here in Gakli. We have the Frafres, the Hausas, the Grusis, the Arabs and many other tribes from West Africa.
Gakli is a settler community along the southeastern part of the Ghana-Togo border in the Duta electoral area of Aflao. Its inhabitants are mostly citizens of countries in the West African sub-region, with Islam being the dominant religion. Being the most economically viable community in the area, business is concentrated in the Fine Boy market, constructed by a Malian.
The chiefs approached Fine Boy to help construct a market in the area. so he obliged and constructed it to help the community. The market has become a one-stop shopping center for everything needed.
The Ghanaian government benefits very little from the local economy as traders here enjoy tax holidays. The shops here are mostly stocked with francophone or foreign products brought into the country through the unapproved routes. In Gakli, almost everything is priced in the West African CFA franc, including lands, making the Togolese currency dominant here. Another significant thing is that here, petrol is sold in bottles. You need between 475 and 500 CFA franc, or its CD equivalent, to buy a liter of petrol. Prosper is a unit committee member. Inhabitants here mostly travel by motorbikes because there are no fuel stations in the area. Some people purchase the fuel at Ahlau and sell to us in bottles. Now this helps fuel our bikes to enable us to go about our various activities. The unit committee chairman, Koshivi Bakba, believes citing an official border post in the area would enhance security and lessen cross-border crimes.
Former
President Mahama and President of Togo, Faure Gnassingbé, promised to establish a border post here during their visit to the area. We are appealing to government to consider doing that. The Ketu South Municipal Chief Executive Elliot Edem Agbanawu lamented human settlements along the border were undermining the country's security. He indicated various measures are being taken to streamline activities in Gakli in line with the country's laws.
In fact, we have more than 28 unapproved routes in the municipality, but immigration has been helping. However, what we earmarked to do, for which we've already started and about 60% has been completed, is to construct a road from the main border, joining the no man's land, to link with the Segbe. The unapproved routes are there, and that is where these merchants come from. You know, that market is solely, I can say it's solely for these foreigners who comes from Togo, Mali, Niger, and all that. They sell their cloth and other things. So we are encouraging them to go through the main border, but they also not comfortable. But I think that the main border rather, is the best for them. But they also not comfortable. But because we also want to check illegality in our borders, in our unapproved routes, and we are strengthening security around those areas. I can tell you that our annals is opened over here as a country, and so I know that His Excellency the President is very much committed about this.
Until stringent measures are put in place at these unapproved routes leading to the country, Ghana will continue to lose revenue due to smuggling through these routes. Fred Kwame Asari's report for Joy News.
Meanwhile, Deputy Controller General in charge of operations and command posts, Lord Ofori Afrifa, says a national security strategy is required in tackling the challenge, among others.
In looking at border security, you should look at it in the wider context of border management. You only look at it as it is, as you see the agencies working there. But you look at it in the wider security of border management, that what the strategies and mechanisms that a state or an agency puts in to secure its border. And that is what ensures the border security. So if you don't have a national strategy, a wider strategy to manage the border, because the border is managed by many agencies. not only one agency. We have immigration, we have customs, you have narcotics, you have plant quarantine from the Ministry of Agriculture, you have Port Health from the Ministry of Health, you have Ghana Standards Authority, you have Foods and Drug Board. Everybody is performing a function targeted at something. So if you don't come together to look at the security of the border, you will fight among yourselves, and then there are loopholes that people will come through. So you put together what we call a border management strategy, which is holistic, brings all the agencies together. And then also in our world, we see that resources are a bit scarce. So you put all these agencies together and you look at issues, resourcing them. Coming together, joint patrols, etc., interagency collaboration. And then you also look at it at the other side of the border. Cross-border collaboration with our partners at the other side under international cooperation. So that is how we want to look at it. You look at it in its wide context.
Let's talk about the Ghana Grand Tour. Now, day 3 was supposed to be a resting day for the bikers, but the British High Commissioner Ian Walker and the team decided to make it another eventful one by visiting the Gonja Kingdom and the St. Anne's Catholic Church.
Ways than one. You can see how deep that water can be unexpectedly in some parts of the crossing. But there is a desire here to support the two riders to safely get to the other side so that they can continue their journey. Their journey, which was to start from Tumu, but Providence pushed it back to Nabaruye. And thank goodness for that, because it has given them the opportunity to highlight a massive social ill that has plagued the people of this community for far too long. Neglect. Neglect in spite of the fact that they are Ghanaians, they are citizens, and they contribute to national development. But National somehow has excluded Nabaruye until today, when Ian Walker decided that Ghana Grand would come through here. And hopefully now the eyes of the nation will be on this stretch of road. Less than 100 meters of road submerged in water every time the Bagre Dam is flooded by the authorities in Burkina Faso. Submerged every single time. But today Ian Walker is finding himself waist deep in this water, just like the people of this community have done every single time this dam is flooded. But today Ian has a story to tell, and you are here to witness it.
Brilliant, well done, guys.
Joy News. So there they are, safely reaching the other side of the flooded stretch of the road. Ian Walker
welcome, thank you.
And
thank you very
Joel
much.
now ready to mount their saddles and continue the journey. As a loud cheer comes up amongst the people, the two of them are now ready to continue their journey. Day 2 was much more relaxed. We started off from the regional minister's office in Wa, and we took a nice relaxed ride all the way down to Sola, where we stopped at the polyclinic to meet with the district chief executive and a youth group that is keen on keeping the municipality clean. Yeah, come in. I'm here.
The whole time, I'll throw you off the bike.
Well,
Thank you.
That's my day 2 of Ghana Grand done. We've just come up a hill. We've done a couple of kilometers in the company of the regional minister. And of course, we're getting ready now for the full ride to begin from right here at Wa Senior High School. It's been a refreshing, brisk ride, and Ian and Joel are going to have even more of this. From now until midday, they're going to be hitting those pedals really hard. We'll bring you every moment live. Nice one, Ian. Good luck. We'll see you. Yes. Well, we've done perhaps a couple of kilometers together with the regional minister and his deputy, and of course Ian and Joel have taken the lead. But well, that was quite a brisk ride, wasn't it, Mr. Binsali?
It was.
Yes, and you haven't lost any of your skills.
Not at all.
So tell me, why was it important for you to accompany Ian for a period of the ride?
Well, we think that it's an opportunity for us to tell the world that the Upper West is a peaceful place and that we have tremendous opportunities. When dignitaries of such nature come to the region, it is always an opportunity to sell the region. So we thought it wise to also cash in on the opportunities by joining him. So that is why we have decided to join.
Now the Upper West region is a very important region in Ghana.
Today's tour kicked off from the Morley National Park this morning. British High Commissioner Ian Walker and his team spent Eid al-Adha with the people of the nearby Larabanga community. Ian Walker advocated the strengthening of the harmony that exists between religious faiths in Ghana. Mr. Walker, who is currently on a cycling tour from the north to the south of Ghana to raise funds to support the plastics and burns unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, told my colleague Kojo Yangsen that the coexistence among religious groups in the country is enviable and must be strengthened.
To all of my Muslim friends and to all the people that we've met here, we have been welcomed with open arms all the way through this journey so far, and as you say, very much that's been the case here as well. So it's a special place to be on this special holiday, and you know, as I said, I just think for me, if there was one thing I suppose that I particularly love about Ghana, it's that interfaith tolerance and the respect for each other's religions. And hearing more about that yesterday at Larabanga Mosque deepened my understanding, and keeps on wanting me to understand a bit more. So, as I said, Eid Mubarak to all of our Muslim friends, and I hope they have a happy holiday.
Right.
We hope you're enjoying your holiday as well. This is Joy News Today. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Now, she got pregnant on the streets of Accra and abandoned by family and friends to her fate. That's the story of Rebecca, who is suffering from mental illness. Her story exposes the gap in the mental health care delivery system in Ghana, despite passing the Mental Health Act in 2012. Here are excerpts of our latest Hotline documentary, Minds to Mind, by Nancy Emefa-Dwadosi.
Yeah. According to the Mental Health Authority, in 2017, it was estimated that about 4 million Ghanaians out of the estimated population of 28 million at the time were suffering from mild to severe mental illness. Rebecca is one of those. She's lived on the streets of Adenta for many days. She doesn't know what she does every day. She doesn't know who got her pregnant or that she's even pregnant. In this documentary, I tell you a story about Rebecca, whose story represents the major lapses in the social welfare system in Ghana and the deficiencies in the care for people with mental illness. Inside the Pantine Hospital are stories of people who have had different experiences in life, some of which have cost them the sanity of their thoughts. Rebecca was brought here by neighbors and some officials of the Adenta Municipal Assembly after she was found in labor somewhere on the streets of Adenta. Rebecca appears confused, but she realizes that she has a child now. She may be lost in her thoughts, but she knows where she is, and she hates being here. Rebecca's aunt, who we choose to call Issy, says her family is not financially capable of taking care of the baby.
Me can miss me baba with baby 2 months. And tina need to me here me unity. This is idea. And can you find home?
When you look at the law, mental health service is meant to be free. All these talk about Ghana being a very hospitable and all those things, it's a sham. If we are that responsible, hospitable, then we'll be taking care of these things. We won't wait for foreigners to come and then receive them nicely when our kids and kin are roaming the streets naked.
Now, the Executive Secretary for the Mental Health Society and Country Facilitator, Mental Health Leadership and Advocacy Program, Humphrey Kofi, is advocating a more robust healthcare system for mental health patients. He spoke to me on News Desk.
The NGOs in mental health, including Basic Needs and Mental Health Society of Ghana, are always trying to complement the efforts of government in trying to ensure that there is community service of people for people with mental health disorders. So in the Northern Belt, you find Basic Needs working together with the Ghana Health Service and the Mental Health Authority to reach out to people with mental disorders. In the Southern, you also find Mental Health Society of Ghana working with Ghana Health Service as well as the Mental Health Authority in reaching out people within the community. You know that the way forward is now community mental health and not institutionalization. Much as the Mental Health Authority is trying to get all regional hospitals have psychiatric wings, at least 10 beds in every general hospital. It is not all the regional hospitals that have these psychiatric wings. I can count about 4 so far out of the number of regional hospitals that we have. And it just basically is to try and integrate mental health within the general health sector so that at least it reduces the level of stigma that we are talking about, so that anybody who enters the regional hospital, though might be seeking psychiatric treatment, might not be obvious for people to know that they are coming from the psychiatric unit of the regional hospital, unlike the institutionalized hospitals where immediately you stand at Accra Psychiatric Hospital, it is assumed that you are coming from there or you're just entering. So it goes to reduce the stigma generally.
So for the question of the number of psychiatrists, would you say this is because of stigma alone, or we don't have enough facilities to train them? Or what really is the problem?
So one, stigma. Stigma is so strong, so strong. That's number one. Then two, there's less motivation for anybody to go into that, because it is also assumed that you can earn very little when you branch into psychiatry. And if you are a gynecologist, you can imagine that in a day you can make so much money. But in the area of psychiatry, how much can you make in a day? You are not likely to be better off. All these things are cumulative effects of people's decision as to really whether they have to branch into psychiatry or not.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Now, some residents of Kopliga in the Karaga district of the northern region are unhappy about what they describe as a bizarre termination of a rural electrification project in their community. The people's lack of electricity supply to the community is preventing health workers and teachers from accepting postings there. They say the project, which was started by the previous government, was almost complete, but some political interference has stopped the project and it's having a dire effect on them.
According to the residents in a letter dated 11 July 2019 to the contractor Wintiman Limited and signed by the Chief Director of the Ministry of Energy, Lawrence Apalse, on behalf of the sector minister, stated they had reviewed the strategy for the implementation of the project and regret to terminate the contract, which was due for completion in 6 months. Idrisu Dokuru is the head teacher of Kopliga Primary School.
We are talking of the development in the community as well as Ghana. Are you trying to tell us that people in Kopliga, they don't deserve electricity? Look, let me tell you this, I beg you. Because of the lack of electricity, teachers in Karaga district, they are running away from this circuit. About 17 schools here, 1 junior high school, and then teachers don't come.
Electrical cables have been laid and transformers have been mounted, awaiting connection to the national grid. A resident, Al-Hassan Zakaria, tells Joy News they were disappointed with the termination of the project.
We are also Ghanaians and we are in need of electricity. Of course, we suffered a lot. There are students here, they don't have electricity, they don't have light to study during the night. So we need the electricity for so many reasons.
The assemblyman for the community, Ahmed Yusuf, tells Joy News the Kopliga electoral area is a very deprived one. They do not have drinking water or a health post. They were hoping the electrification project would have improved their situation.
We need electrification because we are all Ghanaians. So, since MP just stand for 2016, we tell him that we want electricity. So he said that he will give us and the road. But the road, he give us the road, it left with electricity.
Efforts by Joe News to get the district chief executive for Karaga to respond to the concerns of residents proved futile. Reporting for Joe News from Kopliga, Hashmin Mohammed.
Still live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Dazi. Manuel Abuaji joins us in a moment with the latest in business, and he'll be telling us how there's a new oil jetty in Takoradi ready to discharge some 80,000 tons of electronic or petroleum products. Stay with us.
What it means is vessels of petroleum oil jetty in Takoradi.